segment. The first segment, guys, is about the gooning. Bro, the gooning, chat. Yo, I did a lot of thinking about this, and I really didn't know if I wanted to talk about this on stream or not, but I decided, you know what? It's good to talk about this kind of things. It is good to talk about these kind of things. So we're going to start off the stream. First segment's going to be a little bit of yapping. We're going to yap about the gooning epidemic, the gooning problem, how to stop gooning, what strategies I've used in the past to stop or cut down on the gooning. And I hope that this advice helps some people. So I'm not going to lie, chat. In the past, I've struggled with it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. And you want to know what I did to cut down on it? I'm going to tell you guys in this stream what I did to cut down on the gooning, guys. The way society is structured nowadays, Daffy, it is so freaking hard not to goon. I'm not even going to lie, bro. I'm not even going to lie. And in order for me to stop gooning, I had to take several steps, several precautions to limit my access to the material in question. He says, you cut down on gooning by getting bae. Nah, not even in the big 2025, not even having a girl will slow your gooning down, Vin. In fact, I would argue that having a girl makes it harder for you to do NoFap and not to goon. Every single day, you're bombarded, bro. Bombarded with this adult content. It makes it so hard to not fall into that temptation, chat, you know? And in the past, I had cut down on gooning 100%, zero gooning. And I'm going to tell you guys what was my downfall and why I failed my NoFap in the past. And I learned from this experience. One of the things that stopped me from completing the NoFap was Instagram, chat. Instagram. Instagram is if you're trying to do NoFap, Instagram is the biggest pitfall you can find yourself on. Instagram, bro, Instagram is like a cesspool, you know, and the problem that I had was I was doing the NoFap, right? And I would see some thotty show up on my fucking For You page, and I would click on her profile, and then I would see she would have like the link, right? And obviously I'm not going to pay for the link, but I would go and copy her username, and I would go to Google and I would type in whatever her name is, leaks. You know, that's the thing. Like these stupid girls, bro, they don't realize that you can always find their leaks. Jasmine's on Instagram throwing it back. Jasmine's making thirst traps. Jasmine's doing all kinds of crazy shit on the gram. And in her little description says, oh, check out my link if you want to see the goods. Well, what I would do is I would go in and I would look up Jasmine. I'd say Jasmine leaks on Google. And then I would find her fucking all the photos, bro. All the photos, all the videos, all that shit is always leaked. And then in the very beginning, I would look at the leaks and I would be like, okay, bro, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to get tempted. But the problem is that shit contaminates your brain, chat. That's the problem. It contaminates your brain, and little by little, it erodes your self-will. So you're sitting there looking at the stuff, essentially edging, right? Because you're not even touching yourself, right? I would just look. I would just be curious. Curiosity killed the cat. I would be curious, and I would go and I would pull up the leaks, and I would scroll through the leaks. And, okay, this is mid. And then I would go back to doing whatever I was doing. But little by little, bro, after a while, the temptation starts to really settle in. And then at some point you cave and you say, you know what? Let me just go to the fucking porn site. And then you start looking at the porn site and you're like, I'm not going to goon though. Yo, I'm just doing research here. I'm just trying to see what I'm missing out on. And you start looking at the fucking photos and shit, the videos and shit. You're not gooning yet. But now the temptation, the seed of doubt has been planted in your mind, right? And once the seed of doubt is planted in your mind, it's just a matter of time, bro. It's like Star Trek. Resistance is futile. Once you fucking start contaminating your brain with that stuff, you're done. He says, edging, I'd rather burst, gang. Oh my God. So what I had to end up doing, chat, and you know, this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but it's the truth. And I think it would really help you guys if you did it as well. If you want to stop this gooning epidemic. What I did was I went into my phone and I turned on parental control. And if you turn on parental control on your phone and put a password, after a while, it's too many steps, right? It's too many steps to break it. So even if you did get mad horny and mad desperate, you open up your phone and now you have to go through 10 steps to unlock it. And it's like, by the time you unlock the phone, yo, you got to be really down bad, chat. If you put parental, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the hack. Listen to me. This is the hack. The hack is don't doom scroll on Instagram and put parental control on your phone. once you do those two things, it's almost impossible for you to break your NoFap. Because you have to be down bad to put in like 3 passwords to unlock your phone to look at adult material. You have to be down bad. He says, my hand and my cock are always on lock.
Mama! Help me!
Oh, that was actually kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Oh, he said, my hand and my cock are always on lock. After a while, you realize that your mind is polluted. The internet, social media, all of these thoughts have influenced your thoughts. The thoughts have influenced your thoughts. And you need to do a detox, bro. I don't really think that I don't have a moral reason for not wanting to fap, to be honest. It's just a psychological reason, right? I think it really does affect your mindset. I think that the ability to control your sexual urges will go a long way towards you meeting your goals because it shows that you have resilience. It shows that you have self-discipline, right? The guy who's just fapping 24 hours a day, he has no self-discipline. I'm not even saying that fapping is bad. To be honest, I don't think fapping is the problem, royalty. The problem isn't fapping. The problem is the actual material that you're watching in order to fap. First of all, it's dehumanizing. Second of all, it's extremely immoral. And third, it's setting up a false expectation in your mind, right? So I really don't have any type of real explicit moral boundary when it comes to fapping. I just think that psychologically it affects you negatively, right? And I think it can become a hindrance towards you reaching your goals. It can be very time consuming. If you're a chronic gooner, it can be extremely time consuming. You know, the chronic gooners who are there for like 2 hours, 3 hours, rubbing one out, that's crazy to me, chat. That's insane. And there's plenty of people that are in that mindset, bro. He says, Scott afraid of touching his dick. There's plenty of people that get into that mindset, bro. They're just fucked. Tonight, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you've never done a 2-hour session, bro, I'm talking about not busting. You're just there, just consuming it, bro. Like consuming it, chat. Let me not, yo. This is like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, but instead of me getting you guys off the alcohol, I'm bringing in the bottle of Henny. Cause hey, the 2-hour session hits different. I ain't gonna lie. That 2-hour session hits different, bro. He says 3 hours. If it takes you 3 hours, you gay. But I really want to drive this point home. I really want to drill this into you. I really want to pound this idea into your mind. I really want to fucking stick it to you right now. I want to crack you open and fucking insert this into your mind, Inception style. That fapping is not the way. And I think that as men, shit, sometimes it is a little bit shameful for you to even talk about this whole fapping epidemic. The truth is all of us have been there, chat. If you haven't been there, you're weird. But there's like a stigmata around the subject. There's like a phobia around the subject. There's a taboo. And I know where it stems from. I've mentioned it in the past. It stems from the fact that men are supposed to be out there getting cheeks. You know, men aren't supposed to be in their room rubbing one out. To be honest, I really do think if you had a time machine and you went back to the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, the homies weren't in the room rubbing one out, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Niggas in the 1980s weren't in their rooms rubbing one out. They were out in the street trying to get bitches. You know, let me put on my Candace Owens hat here. Let me put on my tinfoil hat. I'm almost starting to think that this might be a government psyop. To be honest, this might be a fucking sterilization program. Because birth rates are plummeting. And the reason why birth rates are plummeting is because niggas are gooning, bro. They're having a goon sesh. And if we continue going down this path, at some point, we're going to forget how to even talk to the opposite sex. Homies are out here looking at Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue. Bro. And then the problem is, as a young man who doesn't know better, you start to idolize these women. And you start to really try and go after women like that. That's the problem I have with it, chat. To be honest, this is the real. Maybe I do have a moral fucking issue with adult content. Maybe I do have a moral issue because the problem I have with it is, as a young man who doesn't know better, when you start watching the Bonnie Blues and the Lily Phillips, you start to really think that that's a normal woman. You know, You go talk to a fucking 10-year-old and I hate to say it because it sounds crazy, but the 10-year-olds be looking at all kinds of crazy shit, bro. Young kids nowadays on the internet are fucking completely corrupted. They're completely corrupted. They're swimming around in the same cesspool as you and I. The problem is that a young kid like that gets access to adult material, and then he sees a female like Bonnie Blue or Lily Phillips or Camila Arajulo or Sophie Rain, and he starts to think that that's what a woman is, right? And the problem is that he grows up and he becomes a fucking Myron from Fresh and Fit. He becomes a fucking FitX Fearless. He becomes one of these guys who only chases bimbos, bro. That's all they know. All they know is bimbos. And they start to think, they start to internalize this, and they start to only chase after these very fucking shallow, vain, soulless women. They chase women like this, materialistic, shallow women who are going to try and use them for what they have. Women who have no morals, right? I always said it. It's okay for a man to do whatever it takes to get rich. You know, that's in our nature, chat. It's in male nature. It's the male dynamic for us to go out and try to make money. But when a female gets that mindset, it's the worst thing that can happen to her. Because a female with the go-getter mindset is capable of doing anything for money. They have literally no boundaries. Nothing is stopping them. They will do whatever it takes for $1. And the problem is that those are the kind of women, you know, it's self-selecting. It's a filter. Those are the kind of women that get into adult content. The ones that are super ambitious. They're the girls that want the fucking Birkin bag. Those are the girls that want the fucking Porsche GT3 RS. Those are the girls that want to go on expensive vacations. Those are the girls that want to live a lavish lifestyle, but they don't want to put in the work. If you're a young man and those are the only women you're seeing, those are the only women you're privy to, then you're going to be in a world of pain and hurt, bro. You really are. You really are. It's going to fuck up your brain so badly, you're not going to know up from down. Because you're not going to be able to find a normal girl. You know, a normal girl for you is going to be boring. That's the problem. When you're down one of these fucking pornographic rabbit holes and you start to go out into the world and try to date, if you're one of the guys who actually leaves his house and tries to date females, a normal girl for you is going to be boring. You're going to say, wait, why is she dressing so modestly? Wait, where are all her thirst traps? Wait, why is she not caked up in makeup? Yo, where's her Louis Vuittons? Where's her this? Where's her that? And you're going to think, this girl is boring. And the problem is that doing that, you're going to throw away a lot of girls that are actually worth your time. And you're going to chase after the girls that are full of red flags. I've been there. I've done that, chat. I'm trying to save y'all the heartache. As a man, you know, I hate to say it. And I made a video about this. Did you not see my video about this? I made a video about the body counts. Did you not watch my body count video? In my body count video, I explained everything. I explained the purpose of life. We went back to caveman days. As a man, you are biologically programmed to spread your seed, you know? As a man, you are biologically programmed to go out and fuck as many bitches as possible. That is your imperative. As a female, your imperative is to raise children. If a man fucks 50 different women, that man is highly sought after. He's a high value man. He has the capability of attracting females that want to reproduce with him. If a female fucks 50 guys, it means her judgment is off. She lacks the ability to choose a high value man. And men and women are not built the same. You know, I don't care how many people in society, how many fucking news outlets and television shows want to spread this agenda that men and women are equal. We're not equal. We're not equal. This is supply. It's basic economics, supply and demand. It's supply and demand. If something is easy to obtain, if something is in high supply, easy to obtain, the value of that thing will be in decline. And the problem is that if a woman is giving it up to everyone, chat, everybody hits, then she's going to have low value because she's easy to obtain. I'm just being honest, you know, and I've had a lot of flack for having this opinion, but I've had this opinion my entire life. You know, this was before the Andrew Tates. This was before the Sneakos. I've always had this opinion, and I think it's a valid truth. Look, guys, You don't have to take my word for it. You know, this is why I love nature, guys. I love nature because nature shows us the secrets of the universe. It's up to you to choose if you're going to ignore it or if you're going to acknowledge it, right? And the problem is that in the West, in our society, they've chosen to ignore what is natural. We've chosen to ignore nature, bro. Like the society that we're trying to build, the society that we're trying to construct is completely unnatural, bro. It's like a science experiment. We're living in a science project. We're living in a science project where genders no longer matter. Women are free to be promiscuous. Adult material is rampant, you know, so much so that even little tiny kids have access to it. There's no more bullying, and the social institutions have been eroded. And best of all, I'm missing one. I'm forgetting the best one for last. Men think that they're women. That's the society that we're living in. Does that sound like a functioning society? Honestly, is this a controversial take, chat? You know, we wanted to talk about NoFapping, but I think all of this stuff ties into the NoFap. Does that sound like a functioning society? There's a reason why in other cultures, in Asian cultures, they have extreme strict laws when it comes to adult material. All of the adult material censored, blurred. There's a reason why. There's a reason why cultures like the Japanese, the Chinese, even though they're freaks, degenerates, they still try to restrict the amount of adult material their population consumes because it erodes your brain, bro. It erodes your ability to think logically. It erodes your discipline. It erodes your self-control. It affects your brain severely. It makes you docile. Kanai says, men been acting like females and the females want to be men. Bro, Kanai, we're in an experiment, bro. This is an experiment. I'm telling you it's an experiment. Population control, bro. I'm putting on my Candace Owens tinfoil hat and I'm telling you right now that this is population control. It really is. Vin says, Asians are freak. Said by Scott Leonard. Oh my goodness. Listen. We live in a world where the social contract between men and women has been turned on its head. The roles have been eroded, and the next generation of kids is severely, severely damaged and confused. And the government knows, bro, but the government, you know what the government, their role is in this? Their role is they want you to be docile. They want you to be just a plain, boring NPC person with no personality, no strong thoughts, no nothing, that just goons and buys stuff and pays your taxes. That's what the government wants. If the government could reduce you down to a person who just has no opinions, doesn't fight back, has no personality, derives pleasure from consumerism, and goons all day and is docile, they would be, and pays their taxes, they would be the happiest government on earth. They just want you to shut the fuck up, spend money, and pay your taxes. So it's up to you to not fall for the programming, bro. The programming is affecting me subconsciously, chat. I've almost internalized it. That's the patch update, chat. And I've warned you guys in the past, every generation, there's a patch update. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Let me clarify this a little bit because it's not how I'm saying it. Every generation in the past, right? There were patch updates. The patch updates were few and far between. If you grab the guy from the 1500s and you grab the guy from the 1800s, their lives were very fucking similar. They were riding around on horses. They were planting crops. They were killing each other and they were fucking. There was no TV. There was no real media. There was nothing going on. You know, there was almost no patch update. But the problem now is that the patch updates are getting quicker and quicker and quicker. We're living in Windows, and we're not on a good operating system, bro. This operating system sucks because now every single time I boot into the fucking computer, there's an update. Oh, did you get your transgender update yet? Did you get your homosexual update yet? Did you get your capitalism update yet? Your communism update yet? Your socialism update yet? Your religious update yet? There's aliens. You're about to die. Cancer. AIDS. Famine. War. iPhone. Guys, every single generation there's updates, but our generation is the one that's suffering the most, guys. The Diddy situation, the Epstein situation, normalized. The Bill Cosby's, normalized. The sexualization of kids, normalized. The sexualization of animals, normalized. Extreme goonerism, normalized. The reversal of the gender roles, normalized. Fapping is the first step in going down the slippery slope of getting that patch update, to be honest. I mean, think about it. Think about this, chat. They got you looking at another nigga's dick for hours, whether you like it or not. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that 100 years ago, first of all, a guy from 100 years ago would not even have been able to see anybody's genitalia at all? Think about it. If anything, he probably only saw his wife's genitalia and maybe one or two other females that he fucked around with in his entire life. Niggas weren't seeing genitalia like that every single day. But if you're one of these chronic fappers, bro, you're seeing hundreds of fucking vaginas and fucking dicks. You're seeing everything, bro. You're cooked. That's not normal, bro. It's not normal. It's not healthy. You might as well just go to a Diddy freak off, for real. Can I say W freak offs? You might as well go to a freak off. They're conditioning your mind, bro. Can you not see that? They're conditioning your mind.